Hello, ADNC family. I hope all is well. It is Tuesday, and we're, slowly coasting through the week. And I'm happy to be with you again. Thank you for joining me. And as I said, I hope all's well with my American brothers and sisters and my Canadian brothers and sisters. Today, what are we talking about today? What are we talking about today? First, let me just start by saying I know to my brothers and sisters in the America, immigration there is quite chaotic. And I'm just here to tell you it is utter chaos here in Canada as well. So, we're going to talk about immigration today. We're going to talk about a few different topics. So, as usual, I'm going to be providing some assets and we're going to travel through everything that's going on. While we wait for more people to join, I just want to say hi to Teresa. Hey, Teresa, you're always the first person to come on. I appreciate you coming on and hanging out with me. Hope all's well with you. And I hope everybody has already downloaded the African Diaspora News Channel app. If you have not, I hope that you run and do it because you need to get that app. It is a worthwhile investment, trust me. Hey, Sheila, how are you? Hope all is well. Thanks so much for joining. All right, so immigration in Canada. We're going to talk about a few different things. The first thing we're going to talk about is the over 5 million, to be very exact, 5.78 million, 785,000. Okay. Foreigners were granted visitors visas. And are you ready? Without any criminal checking, no screening. So between 2022 to today, over 5 million. Okay. And so what's happening now is there's been quite a bit of crime going on here. So Canada's immigration minister, her name is Lena Dieb, is on the hot seat because she has to explain why all of these people were allowed in this country and how they allowed it to happen without screening. So that's the first thing we're going to look at is her on the hot seat. And in usual fashion, you don't really get any answers. You get a lot of word salad. But let's just watch.
Two ISIS members, Ahmed and Mustafa El-Didi, came into this country in 2018. They moved to my community in Richmond Hill. Shortly after obtaining their Canadian citizenship, a month later, they were found by CSIS that was found out that they were plotting a terrorist attack in the GTA. CSIS actually found a video, which we were able to obtain as well. It's very easy. It's on the internet, of one of them dismembering a prisoner with a sword in 2014. Can you explain how that person that your government led into this country got into my community, and it took CSIS many years to identify that indeed they were planning, only because somebody, I'm sure, whistleblowed that they were planning an activity, of a terrorist activity, terrorist act on Canadians in the Greater Toronto area?
So the IRCC department is responsible for managed migration. Foreign nationals are all screened before coming into Canada. When things like that happen, we work with CBSA, we work with policing partners, we work in the system, and people are treated accordingly. And that's why you now have another bill in the legislature to deal with
Minister,
criminals.
You mentioned CBSA. CBSA
Yes.
officials testified before this committee that IRCC officials can overrule CBSA and issue permits even if CBSA has given a negative assessment. Why?
I'm sorry, who can?
Did you hear that? I'm sorry, who can? She's like so lost. Let's continue.
IRCC
Yes.
can overrule a decision by the CBSA. CBSA has found that the person is inadmissible. They get a negative assessment, and the IRCC has and does, on occasion, overrule the decision of the CBSA. Can you explain why your officials would overrule something like that? Why people would be allowed in our communities, on our streets?
Quick response, please.
Look, we're here to study C12, and it is part of detecting fraud. That is why we're here today.
Deflection.
so that your committee is able to make best recommendation to the safety committee on, if you need to make any recommendation on including in the bill regarding fraud, regarding,
A rapist of a young girl is on the UK sex offender registry. So I ask you again, if they're screening, as you're suggesting, how did he get a visitor visa?
So again, Canadians are concerned when reports suggest someone who's committed serious crimes abroad has entered Canada. And that is exactly why Canada must continue to maintain and strengthen the screening and enforcement
Minister,
systems.
that's a talking point. I'm talking about an actual case of a rapist who came into this country, who from a G7 country, who was on the child abuse registry of the United Kingdom.
Okay.
Clearly giving me a talking point as an answer doesn't answer the question of how that person got into this country.
So IRCC can't disclose individual cases, but on this one, it is public, and I will tell you what the court decision, because it's gone to court, so the decision is public, indicates the individual moved to Spain in 2020, then came to Canada on a visitor visa in 2023, did not disclose his criminal history on the visa application, and he has now been found inadmissible.
That was in a
and
National
is
Post
being
story.
deported.
That response, in general, was in a National Post story on October 6, 2025, a day that you were the Minister of Immigration in this country. Okay? So basically, does it all it take for someone's background check? Is it okay with you if someone just doesn't tick off the box that says, I have a criminal record, as a proper screening for coming into the country?
So
'Cause
Canada.
a proper screen would have surely found this individual.
So Canada has a robust screening process.
Did you hear her, family? She said Canada has a robust screening process, yet all these people were let in on visitors' visas.
Doubt it. This is not explaining it at all. Really? You have a robust screening system when someone that's on the child registry got into this country. It begs the question, how many more of these vile people are walking around our streets, in our communities, around our schools, around our community centers?
Minister.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop there for a second. I just want to expand on this. So George is asking her, how did she let all of these people in? And he mentioned two different offenders. The first one that he mentioned was Ahmed and Mustafa El Didi. So he was talking about these two people here. These two people came into the country without any security screening. Okay. And they were here for a number of years. Last August 2024, they were prepared to carry out a massive terrorist attack on Toronto, just random people in Toronto with a machete and an axe. And they were apprehended. So they're currently behind bars. This was a father and son team. And as George said, there's video of them dismembering somebody in their country. And this was going to be a whole ISIS attack that they were carrying out. As I said, they're currently behind bars, and they are going to be going to trial September of next year. So he was referring to them, and then he was referring to some, SA offenders as well. One thing I want to point out, family, is neither of those people that they're referring to, nor the vast majority of these people that got here on visitors' visas are Black. Okay? But I'm going to expand on that a little bit later. But none of them are Black. I just want to put that disclaimer out. Okay? So Sheila, you're saying that you're saying she's playing hard of hearing. I mean, honestly, it's nothing but deflection all the time, and she's been on the hot seat big time. So yeah, you're saying, Isaac, you're saying that she's, yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure how she's in this position. I really am not, because there's not really a clear answer to any of the decisions that she's made since she's come into this position. And, immigration right here is a hot mess express. It's just beyond bananas. But I have more to show you. Yeah, we need an ICE here. We do. We need an ICE here. We definitely need an ICE here. We don't have that here. We got the Canada Border and Services Agency that does, goes around and does that kind of like an ICE kind of thing. But nothing major like you have in the United States. Exactly, Isaac. A robust screening process. That's what she said. All right. So now, next topic, because I mentioned in my caption that there are 600 criminals that have gone missing. And again, now the Minister of Public Safety, his name is Gary Ananda Sangari, is on the hot seat to explain where they're at. So let's just watch that and we'll talk about it more.
600 foreign nationals were set to be deported. 70% of them committed violent crimes, including sex assaults. Where are they?
Thank you, Mr. Caputo. Thank you for that question. As you're aware, the Canada Border Services Agency is tasked with removals of those who are deemed to be
Minister, I'm sorry, we don't need a preamble. We just need an answer. Where are the 600 people who were set to be deported? Maybe I'll ask this way. Do you know where they are? Yes or no?
Mr. Chair, if I may respond to this question in whole. So, as you're aware, the CBSA is tasked with the removal of those who are inadmissible to Canada. In this particular case, we have been ensuring that removals have been taking place at an unprecedented rate.
Did I ask?
He said removals have been taking place at an unprecedented rate, but he still can't even answer where are these 600. And as you can hear, 70% of them have committed violent crimes. Okay. That's like, if I put my accounting brain on, that's 420 of the 600. And he cannot answer where they're at. Let's continue.
About the 600 people, Minister. I didn't ask about removals at an unprecedented rate. Do you know where they are? Yes or no?
Well, there is a set of.
I'll take that as a no, Minister. Let's move on.
Let's be clear, Mr. Caputo. There are a number of individuals who are in the process of being removed. So, of the 600 you talk about, there is a breakdown, and I'd like to invite Ms. Gorman to.
You are the
Minister.
Minister. You are the expert. The Globe and Mail reported 600 people are missing. You're the Minister. You're expected to know this. The buck stops with you. We have 6 minutes. You don't know. Let's move on.
Okay, so he doesn't know where the 600 is. And just say, I don't know where they are. I don't know where they're at, but we're doing our best to find them. And as I said, the vast majority of them have committed violent acts. And maybe, it may seem like 600 is in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot, but that's 600 on record. Okay. That's 600 on record. And we know how easily that can build up, and you can recruit more people, and you can have, people from other countries, the countries you're coming from, also running things from there. So 600 could be 6,000, could be 60,000. Like, it literally can just balloon, right? So just in the grand scheme of things, I just wanted to add some more context to that. So we don't know where these 600 people are. And so we've got over 5 million people that were let in without security checks. Okay. And then we have at least 600 criminals that are running around. We have no idea where they are at, doing God knows what. Okay. And now I'm going to give you some statistics, because they're not really telling us exactly what race all of these 5 million people are. But what I can tell you are who the top people that were granted visas are, like the top ethnic groups. And so, are you ready? Number 1, India. Number 2, France. Number 3, UK. Number 4, Mexico. And number 5, China. Do we see anything here? What do we not see? Black people. And do you want to know why? Because Black people And particularly African people have to go through an astronomical amount of processing and red tape in order to even get granted a visitor visa, a student visa, a permanent residency, temporary residency. And you want to know why? I'll tell you why. So, this is what the data shows as to why Africans and other Black people from other countries are not granted visas to the level in which all of these people have been granted. So, they say that, first of all, the rates are significantly high in African countries. 72% of applicants were rejected. 72%. Okay. Um, so for English and combined African speaking countries, the report shows that 23% compared to a global rate of 51% were approved. Okay, that's low. The disparities in rejection rates. They say the rejection rate for all permit types, visitor, student, work in Africa, ranged from 65% to 79% declined. Okay. So they didn't even get a chance to even get here and go through a non-security checking. Okay. And then they say, why are they rejected? So they say the visa officers often assess whether the applicant has strong ties to their home country. Example, stable job, financial stability, family weak ties that can lead to a risk of not returning. So these are some of the reasons why Africans don't get it. Other Black people don't get it to the rate where the top 5 that I just listed get it. But yet, all of these people got it, and now we are in this situation. Let me just also add that there are over 62,000, okay, 62,000, as they call them, foreign nationals that are set for deportation. That 30,000 are in queue, and 32,000 they can't even find. So here again, you let all those people in, you give Africans a hard time, and this is the mess that this country is in. So now what is Miss Lena Diab trying to do now to clean up her mess? That's the next thing I'm going to talk about. Here's what she wants to do. Miss Lena wants to do a mass cancellation of permanent residents and temporary residents. And I believe it's to clean up her mess, because you can't find the over 60,000. You can't find the 600 criminals. You let in over 5 million without security checks. The country is run amok. And now she's turning around and saying, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cancel the permanent residents that have been here, that have created lives for themselves, law-abiding citizens, people like doctors, lawyers, and what have you, that the ones that were granted that are Black and other races of people. She wants to go and just do this mass cancellation of them, the permanents and the temporary residents, to clean up her muck. And Michelle Rempel, which is one of the House representatives, is putting her on the hot seat to say, how do you justify this mass cancellation? So let's just watch and check out how that goes.
I want Parliament to give the government the ability to kick mass groups of people out, undefined, who they don't like. That's what it sounds like to me. You're not being specific with regard to safeguards here. You're literally asking Parliament to circumvent laws that protect charter rights and to mass cancel entire groups of people who could be here, and you can't say who. How could I go to ethnic groups in my community and say that I could vote for this? This is actually bananas and so anti-Canadian. So what are those specific safeguards? You haven't defined it in the legislation. You're sitting here blathering.
She said, you're sitting here blathering. Oh my gosh, I was dying with laughter when I saw that. She said, you're sitting here blathering, because again, Miss Lena Diab is not really saying anything. But let's keep watching.
And like you're literally asking us to say, yeah, we should give the government to right to just cancel PR, mass PRs. Like imagine you sitting on Red FM tomorrow. Are you going to be saying the same thing to them that you're saying to me now?
Absolutely, yes, I will be.
Thank you for that.
These are not designed to block people that need protection from
I get it.
accessing the system. These powers would only be used in exceptional circumstances when determined in the public
Like what?
interest.
What's an
There are
exceptional
safeguards in that are built in here. Would have to be charter compliant. We will, we will have justice and other officials and other departments involved. That is how you run a country, believe it or not.
Did you hear that, family? She said that's how you run a country, believe it or not. And as you can hear, Michelle is asking her what safeguards, what circumstances how you justify canceling mass PRs, mass permanent residents, and she's still not answering the question.
And that that is part of ensuring that we have the tools needed to manage migration integrity.
So this is how you run a country. You ask Parliament to give you powers to cancel, as you've said, permanent resident visas, temporary resident visas, en masse, without defining in what situations you would do it, with no examples, and then you say that's how a government should be run? That sounds like an authoritarian dictatorship to me. Why should I give you the powers to do that? That sounds absolutely
Again, these
insane.
are not powers for any one minister. These are triggered in exceptional circumstances. It is intended for governor in council. It is in the public interest. There are safeguards. It would be charter compliant. There will be a lot of legal analysis that goes into it. Again, these are used in exceptional circumstances, and when it's deemed in
Like
the
what?
public interest, it's to manage the immigration system.
For the record and for the
make
analysts,
it more
I would like to
integrity.
note that the minister has not noted what those exceptional circumstances would be, and that is crazy.
And that is the
Unbelievable.
purpose.
So there you have it. These are the people: Minister of Public Safety, Gary Ananda Sangari, the Minister of Immigration, Lena Diab, and these are the decision makers for immigration in this country. And as a result of all of this, and by the way, under the Liberal government, okay, that is why Canada is in the state that it's in. Not only is the cost of living just a nightmare. You've got, and I'm going to just speak about our community in general. We've got people from other countries in Africa and Caribbean that would really contribute indelible contributions to this country that are literally left without any recourse, constantly rejected. And then you let in other races of people, and we are in an absolute chaotic disaster. Okay. And as I said, these are the people that are running the show, if you would. And it's just chaos. I don't even know how else to say it. It's just chaos. It's chaos, family. Oh my gosh. So you're saying call them military. They found them and the minister was made ashamed. Wow. Shout out to the ICE in Minnesota. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like I said, we don't really have an ICE here. We have the CBSA, which, they have officers, which, by the way, that's a whole other thing. The Canada Border Service Agency are short so many officers. Like there's really a shortage there. And that same Minister of Public Safety, Gary Ananda Sangari, is tasked to hire at least 1,000 officers, and he can't even answer where they're at with that. That's a whole other segment of him once again on the hot seat and not able to answer. Disaster. We don't have ICE here. We don't. Sheila, you're saying that she needs to be deported. Well, listen, as you can hear, she has an accent. She's also not Canadian either, Canadian born by any means. But I just question the people that are in these positions. And by the way, also speaking about the security screening and lack thereof, right now they've hired students that only have 3 weeks training that are basically the decision makers when immigrants come in. And although Gary and Nanda Sangari says that, they're not left to their own devices to make decisions, to me, students shouldn't even 3 weeks into training be able to be anywhere near security checks to make any decisions about who comes into this country. So again, the decision making that's going on right now is a hot mess express. Okay. Yep, she was. She's just making up answers, word salad, reading off of the internet and just reading answers that aren't even applying to the question. Yep. Thank you so much. I will keep representing the Black diaspora. I will, because at the end of the day, like I said, as a Ghanaian that's been living here pretty much my entire life, I've been I've been taking taxis, at some point in life, I've had to take taxis or and Ubers and stuff. And I would get in and there would be a Ghanaian taxi driver. And the Ghanaian taxi driver, I'd be like, "Hey, are you from Ghana?" He say, "Yeah." And then I would start talking to him. I'd be like, Edisang, I'd be asking him how it's going. And we'd be talking. And then he'll tell me he's a doctor. He was a doctor. He practiced medicine in Ghana, and not only just a GP, a specialist, like he was a bone surgeon or and what have you. And he'd be driving a taxi because he came here. And, it's not easy if you don't meet the credentials, the Canadian standard of a physician, then you have to start from scratch and it costs a lot of money. So now they're working to save money to get back there. So that's one of the challenges too that a lot of our people face when they come here. And they are, are specialists in fields. Meanwhile, there's a shortage of doctors, there's a shortage of nurses. Our ERs are overwrought. The average wait times are 8 minutes and longer. You've got a shortage of doctors in general. Even in the ER, you got like one ER doctor working while you've got multiple people in the waiting room and in the treated room. And it's just all these doctors are here and ready to work. And it's just not easy for us. It's not. And that's why I just wanted to share this with you, family, because like I said, I know it's going on in the United States, and I just wanted to show you, it's no better north of the border, family. It is no better here. And all that's going on right now under the liberal government, which by the way, are still being approved. Their approval rate is beyond, and they're still favored. So I have a feeling that this country is still going to be um, run under the liberal government, and that is literally making me want to pack my bags and go back home to Ghana, like now, because it's not going to get any better at all. It's not going to get any better. This is I feel like it's just going to go downhill, and it'll be my utmost pleasure to keep sharing with you what's going on here. But right as of right now, we have at least 600 people that are criminals that are running around this country doing God knows what to God knows who. And we don't have the right people in place to find them. We have two people that all they do is deflect, gaslight, and don't give any real answers to what is going on. The people that live here deserve to know, and then they just point the finger elsewhere. It's not my responsibility. It's IRCC, which is Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, or it's not my problem. It's CBSA, which is Canada Border Services Agency. But all of that, you, as the Minister of Immigration and the Minister of Public Safety, ultimately the buck stops with you, like Frank Caputo said when he was asking. So you're the minister, you tell us what you're doing. So there's also lack of transparency. So this is what we're living through, family. Anybody want to like take me in in the United States? I'm ready. I'm a dual citizen. I'm ready to maybe it's better for me there. Okay. Yes, Sheila. I hope the government wakes up before it's too late as well, because man, oh man, it is bad here. So Isaac, you're saying this is like Ramaphosa recently allowed a whole bunch of Palestinians. Yes, I read that. Yep. And that's the thing. You see that there's an allowance of all of these other races of people, but when it comes to us, like I told you, the rejection rate, what? Over 70%, over 65%. And they're not here hardened criminals. They're not like this father and son team that was ready to carry out a whole machete and axe nightmare on random people in Toronto. No, we're not doing all that. Yet now you want to go and cancel mass permanent residents and mass temporary residents, which, by the way, I'm sure there are a lot of our people that fall in that category. Oh, okay. So you're saying there's a lack of diversity here in Ottawa. Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, at the top of the ticket of immigrants that were let in is the South Asian community. So, pretty much everywhere you go, you're seeing more and more of them, sort of segregating in areas and owning restaurants and gas stations and what have you. Definitely, they are at the top as far as the number of immigrants that were brought in. So the same goes here, in Toronto and other parts of Ontario as well. Definitely at the top, and really across Canada, definitely at the top. And yeah, so family, this is Canada, eh? This is what's going on here. So I just wanted to share that with you. I wasn't going to take up too much of your time today. I thought this was pretty important. Greetings, Oyama. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for joining. But yeah, let me know what you think. Drop your comments in the chat. And to my American brothers and sisters, drop your comments. Let me know what you feel about the immigration that's going on, the immigration situation that's going on in the United States as well. Yep. Bren says both countries, Canada and the USA, yep, have enough legal criminals, and they're importing more illegal criminals. Yeah, like I was saying, there's at least over 600 here, right? At least. And like I said, over 62,000 that are supposed to be deported, but trying to find them. So it's bad. It is really, really bad. Yeah. So yes, family, I thank you so much for, hanging with me for 30 minutes. I'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same channel, and I will be exposing some more things that are going on. Just to give you a little teaser for tomorrow's live stream, we'll be talking about the Toronto District School Board and the anti-Black racism that happens there and how it's affecting our Black students here. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and also download the African Diaspora News Channel app. Must do that. That's a must. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And I'll see you again tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Until then, again, I thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Be safe, everyone.